Today, I decided to survive 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore, but to make it more fun, asked ChatGPT to give me advice and make a plan. Watch until the end to see how it's turned out, and enjoy the video. As soon as I spawned in, asked ChatGPT what's the plan for day number 1, and here what it gave me. Get 16 logs and craft basic tools, mine 20 stone for gear and furnace, find food and 3 wool for a bed, build a small shelter and cook some food, and finally sleep to skip the night. Alright, let's get to work. I started by chopping down some trees, crafted a crafting table, and made my first wooden pickaxe. Then I went look for sheep, got 3 wool for a bed, and some meat for food. With that done, I mined some stone. I wasn't really sure which tools I need, so I crafted all of them. I gathered some seeds and made small farm, so I'd always have some food. After that, I started building my shelter. I didn't try to make it look nice, since it was only temporary solution. After finishing the shelter, I placed my bed, furnace, and crafting table. Then I went down into the cave to mine some coal. Once I had enough, I crafted and placed torches, and since it was already getting dark, I went to sleep, ending day number 1 safe and ready for tomorrow. Good morning everyone. After waking up on day number 2, I sent my daily report to ChatGPT, and then I got new list of tasks for today. You can see them here, but some of them I already did before, like craft torches, so next time I won't mention them, just to keep things clear. Alright, so after that I started work on the new goals. First, I went into the cave I found close to my base. I mined some coal and iron, then I smelted the iron and crafted a pickaxe. After getting a full stack of cobblestone, I went back to surface. I hunted some animals and got more food. Another task is done. Then I expanded my farm a little bit, cooked my food, sent another report to ChatGPT, and then I went to sleep, finishing the day after completing almost all my tasks. A new day begins in my Minecraft world. The sun is rising and it's time to get back to work. When I checked my list from ChatGPT, I saw that one of the goals for today was to craft a shield, so that's exactly what I did first. Now I feel a bit safer if I meet any skeletons or zombies later. After that, I wanted to make my shelter looks better and stronger, because it still have some dirt on the roof and it didn't look very nice. So I replaced the dirt with wooden planks and did the same inside of the house, and it already looks much better. Then I went to the river to collect some sand. I made glass from the sand and used it to make windows. Finally, I can see outside without opening the door. After that, I decided to move the door 1 block higher, because before it looks a bit strange and uneven. I also crafted some stairs and placed them in front of the entrance. Now it feels much more like a real home. When the house upgrade was done, I went outside to clear the grass near my base. I wanted to use that area to build a small pen for animals. So I crafted some fences and started building. At first I made it small, just enough for a few cows or sheep. Later I always can make it bigger if I need more space. While I was finishing the fence, the sun began to set. I looked around and felt happy with what I did today. Even though I didn't complete every task, I made a lot of progress. Before going to bed, I sent my daily report to ChatGPT, and then I went inside, closed the door, and ended day 3 feeling proud and ready for tomorrow. Yesterday's unfinished goals were moved to day 4 by ChatGPT, and few new tasks were added as well. As soon as I woke up, I headed straight to the cave to mine some iron for my armor. While exploring, I came across some gold and collected 15 pieces. Later I discovered diamonds. A skeleton was guarding them, but my shield helped me to kill it. In the end I got 2 diamonds, and then I kept finding more and more. After returning to surface, I had 10 diamonds and 32 iron ores. I started melting the iron right away. While it was melting, I built double chests to keep all my items safe. Next I worked on my farm. I planted all seeds and made sure everything was growing perfectly. Then I went out to find chickens. I found 4 of them, brought them directly into the pan and started breeding them. Once the iron was ready, I crafted a full set of armor, finishing one more task from ChatGPT. It was a busy day full of mining, crafting and farming, so I sent daily report to ChatGPT and went to the bed ready for the next adventure. When I woke up on day 5, the first thing I wanted to do was to bring some new animals, because it was one of the easiest tasks from ChatGPT. So using grit, I gathered a bunch of cows and led them into the pan. Since cows are more useful for me, I decided to get rid of the chickens. Sorry little ones. After putting cows inside, I started breeding them, and then I went back home. Then I crafted a diamond pickaxe and headed to the cave to collect more iron for an anvil. While mining, I also found some diamonds, which definitely will help me to survive longer. When I finally returned home, I had 8 diamonds and 27 iron ores. I started smelting the iron right away, and while it was smelting, I wrote another report to my boss, ChatGPT. After getting new tasks for next day, I went to bed, ending another busy and successful day. I started day 6 by collecting wheat. That was first task from ChatGPT. After harvesting everything that was ready, I planted new seeds and made sure everything looks good. Then I went straight to the cave. My goal was to find obsidian, or at least some lava to make it, since I need it for enchanting table and the nether portal. While exploring, I got really lucky. I found diamonds, then more, and even more after that. Soon I discovered a dungeon with a spider spawner. I destroyed it quickly, but sadly the chest didn't have anything useful inside. So I kept searching for obsidian and finally found it near the lava lake. I mined 14 blocks, and on my way back up I also found found some lapis lazuli that will come in handy later for enchanting. By the time I reached the surface, it was already night, so I had to be extra careful because one mistake can end my hardcore world. I made it home safely in the morning of day 7, started smelting the ores I found, and wrote my daily report for ChatGPT to get new goals for next adventure. Because I couldn't finish all my tasks in one day, ChatGPT started giving me goals for several days at once. This time I got a list of tasks for 3 days, so I would have enough time to complete everything. Without wasting any time, I tried to craft an enchanting table, but I didn't have a book, so I chopped some trees, crafted a boat, and went to search for sugarcane. I decided to collect a lot of it because I'll need sugarcane to make books, and books are needed for bookshelves. But I didn't find enough, so I went back home and planted what I had along the river. Later I found a bit more and planted that too. After that I went to sleep. The next morning I fed my cow since their leather would be needed for books. Then I continued exploring to find more sugarcane. During my search I discovered a village. There wasn't much else there, so I kept collecting sugarcane until evening. When I came back home I finally crafted an enchanting table and placed it right outside my house. Then I gathered more wood because I still need to craft more bookshelves. After collecting enough I crafted 11 of them. Not bad, but still not enough for a full set. I didn't have enough sugarcane or leather to make more. Since it was already dark, I went to sleep. The next morning I started enchanting my iron armor and tools. Even though my setup wasn't complete yet, it still helped me to finish one of the goals from ChatGPT. And iron armor was only temporary solution, so I didn't worry about that much. While waiting for my sugarcane and cows to grow, I decided to expand my animal pen. I gathered more wood, crafted fences, and cleared the ground. Some blocks were in the way. After finishing the new pen, I split it into 2 sections, one for cows and another one for sheep. Then I harvested more wheat and fed the baby cows to help them grow faster. But I realized my wheat farm wasn't big enough, so I started expanding it. I used the dirt from clearing the area earlier. It helped me a lot. However, it was getting late and my hoe broke before I could finish the job. So I sent my daily report to ChatGPT and it gave me one more day with a new list of tasks for day 10. It was already dark and dangerous outside, so I went to sleep ending day 9. When I woke up on day 10, I crafted a new hoe and continued working on my farm. At the same time, I was breeding cows and collecting sugarcane. Soon when my farm was bigger, I started crafting bookshelves and placing them around the enchanting table. While waiting for sugarcane to grow, I went down into the cave to collect diamonds and gold because I need them for one of my tasks. As soon as I entered the cave, I found some gold and started mining it. Then I discovered a few diamonds, all while trying not to die from mobs around me. After collecting everything I needed, I decided to go back home because I still had a few tasks to finish. But it was already dark, so I built a nether portal, activated, and went to sleep, leaving one task unfinished for the next day. For the next 2 days my main goals were to finish set up my enchanting table and craft and enchant my diamond gear. So I started the morning by crafting all the most important diamond tools and armor. I also placed another double chest for extra storage. After that I began enchanting my armor and tools at basic level. Some of you might be surprised, why not waiting for higher level of enchantments? But ChatGPT advised me to start small, so that's exactly what I did. Then I tried to enchant my sword with sharpness 1, but no matter how many times I reset enchantments, I just couldn't get it, so I decided to call it a day and went to sleep. The next morning on day 12, I fed my cows and started collecting wood because it was time to expand my little house. It was getting way too small. I removed the front wall and cleared the floor to replace it with wooden planks. I also moved the stairs closer to the entrance, which helped me make the room almost 2 or 3 times bigger. After that, while keeping an eye on my cows and crops, I gathered some sand to make glass, which I was planning to use for my new windows. By the evening I built a few simple pots around my house. They weren't fancy, but they made the place feel a bit more alive and cozy. After finishing everything for the day, I went to sleep ending day 12 peaceful. After getting my new list of goals for the next 2 days, I went into the cave. I needed a lot of iron to make a backup iron armor set. Of course I knew my diamond armor wouldn't break while I will be in the nether, but ChatGPT told me to be prepared, so I followed the advice. Not long after going down, I found dungeon with the zombie spawner. In the chest there wasn't much, just a golden apple and a name tag, but that's better than nothing. Soon after I discovered a lot of different ores, which I mined with a great pleasure. Then I found another dungeon, and this one had 2 enchanted books, one with Riptide 1 and another one with Quick Charge 1. When morning came on day 14, I returned to surface and went back home. There I crafted a crossbow and added a Quick Charge enchantment from one of the books. While the meat for my nether tree was cooking, I decided to organize my inventory. I removed all useless stuff and made sure everything important was easy to reach. After that I enchanted my sword with sharpness 2, since ChatGPT now suggests aiming for level 2 enchantments. At the moment I also realized that I already had a full iron armor set ready, so I just needed to enchant my axe and pickaxe. Once that was done, I crafted 2 more furners and started smelting my gold. I needed a nether for sure. Finally I crafted a golden helmet to protect myself from piglins, and since I was fully prepared, start, I report to ChatGPT that I was ready for Nether, but it was already late, so I decided to go to sleep, ending day with everything packed and ready for adventure. On the morning of day 15, I started by improving my Nether portal. ChatGPT had told me to make sure no mobs from the Nether could get into the overworld. After preparing the portal, I stepped inside and entered the Nether. I wanted to build a small room near the portal, but a ghost kept attacking me. I had to defend it first, before I could continue. Once the ghost was done, I finished the room. I had run out of cobblestone, so I mined some netherrack to use for building. After that, I wrote down portal coordinates because it was one of the tasks from ChatGPT. I started exploring to find another fortress. On the way, I saw a ruined portal. There was nothing useful there, except 2 gold blocks. Soon I saw a big structure ahead. As I got closer, I realized it was Nether fortress. I started fighting blazes to collect blaze rods. While fighting, I noticed a chest and opened it. Inside were 3 diamonds, 3 gold ingots, and smith template. Such a good surprise. The wither skeletons were making it harder, and a few times I almost died. In the end, I collected 11 blaze rods. I took extra just to be safe, because ChatGPT didn't say exactly how many I would need. While heading back, I noticed a bastion. I decided not to explore it yet, because I needed to be home before day 17. I took a screenshot of its coordinates to include it in my report. When I returned to the portal, I came back to the overworld. I crafted a brewing stand to complete one task. Then I added more chests because I was running out of space. I fed my cows and collect more sugarcane. By the time I finished, it was already evening on day 17. I sent my report to ChatGPT and went to sleep, ending this busy 3 days. After resting, I decided to smell some sand to make glass for potion bottles, but I didn't have enough coal, so I went down into the cave. I spent almost entire day there collecting coal, and when I came back home, I finally smelted the sand. I fed my cows and then went back to the Nether to collect ingredients for fire-resistant potion. ChatGPT recommended, and it made sense because I didn't want to lose my hardcore world. So I started collecting potion ingredients. I grabbed some glowstone dust and then began hunting magma cubes, but most of them were in the lava, so I had to build a small platform just to collect magma cream. In the end, I managed to get only 5 magma creams. I completely forgot about Nether Ward because I spent too much time farming magma cubes. I realized this only when I got home and tried to brew the potion. So I reported this to ChatGPT and it told me to go back to fortress or try to loot the bastion. I like second option more. I upgraded my sword and pickaxe a bit and then went towards the bastion. Before entering it, I mined some netherrack to make looting easier. While doing that, I randomly found ancient debris. I was shocked. I was at height 79. Of course I mined it and then continued to the bastion. Inside there were tons of piglins. I used lava from my bucket to kill them safely. I tried to dig carefully towards the chests because I really didn't want to fight the brute piglins. In the first chest I found 11 magma creams and 1 gold block. Some unwanted guest came right after, but I managed to defend them, though I almost burned myself in lava. The second chest wasn't interesting, but the next one had a smithing template that I'll need later. I kept looting the bastion and found a golden apple and crossbow with multi-shot. I decided to keep it. Since I had a lot of gold, I traded with the piglins. I got plenty of arrows, 5 fire-resistant potions, the ones I couldn't brew myself, and even 15 ender pearls, which I'll need later. As you can see, ChatGPT's advice doesn't always help. Since it was already day 22, I built a portal right inside of the bastion and went back to the overworld. By the time I got home, evening had already started, so I quickly sent my report and went to sleep, ending another adventure. After failing to brew the potions because I didn't collect Nether Ward, ChatGPT gave me another few days to complete these tasks. I gathered extra food and went back to the Nether. I entered the fortress again and found another smithing template. I also collected the Nether Ward, which I later planted near my house, completing that task. However, I still couldn't find a ghast tier to make the regeneration potion. I reported this in my new update to ChatGPT and went to sleep. In the morning I crafted the Ices of Ender to complete the first task. Then I wanted to enchant my crossbow with power or infinity, or both, but I didn't have enough XP, so I went back to the Nether to farm quartz. When I returned, I tried to enchant the crossbow, but none of the enchantments were good. I left it as it was and just repaired the crossbow. Then I gathered more food, fed my cows, and organized my chest so it was easier to find things. Since I still had some time left, I applied smithing templates to my armor. I didn't have enough templates for boots, but even so it turned out pretty cool. Yes, I know I should craft more templates with diamond, but at the time of recording I didn't know about that, so don't be too hard on me. On the morning of day 28, I received just one task, and to complete it, I needed to reach the end. So without wasting time, I set off to search for the end portal. It took a quite while, and the journey was longer than I expected. Only by the morning of day 29 did I finally enter the end. After getting a new list of tasks from ChatGPT, I was ready to start working on them right away. First of all, I started destroying the crystals because it was required for the first task. I destroyed the crystals I could hit with my crossbow, then I climbed on obsidian tower and took out the remaining ones. After that, I went back down and started started shooting the dragon with my crossbow, slowly completing another task. With multi-shot it was much easier than I expected. When the dragon landed, I switched to my sword and went into melee combat. This also was on my task list. Everything was going well until suddenly... That was insane. Doing water drop in hardcore is absolutely terrifying. After I recovered, I continued shooting the dragon with my crossbow, then moved in for close combat again, but that monster knocked me far away again. This time the landing was clean, no panic, and not long after one precise arrow finished the fight. The dragon was defended, I collected the experience, completed all the tasks for the day, and finished the game just in 29 days. So what do you say now, speedrunners? There is no way I'm so bad, right? After returning home, I went straight to bed, moving us into day 30 and brand new list of tasks. On the morning of day 30, I applied a template to my boots and later I really regretted it, but I will explain why in a moment. After that I decided to upgrade my armor, so I started enchanting a new full set. When I tried to combine the armor pieces, I suddenly noticed something strange. The armor trim completely disappeared. At first I thought it wasn't a big deal and decided I'd just apply a new trim later. Right now I had a big problem. I had spent all my diamonds on armor, so I needed to restock them. Because of that I went down into the cave. I started mining. Sometimes I was finding few diamonds, but it clearly wasn't enough. Then suddenly I discovered a massive cave and it made my life 1,000 times easier. There were diamonds everywhere, all very close to each other. The only real problem was the mobs, but thanks to my armor they didn't deal much damage. At some point I became so rich that I actually started skipping diamonds if they were too far or in awkward position. Soon after that I found something completely insane, a huge amount of iron ores. At that moment I didn't even know this was possible. I honestly couldn't believe my eyes. This was my first experience playing on newest Minecraft versions. Later during editing I learned that this was an ore vein, and what makes it even crazier is that ore vein has a pretty low chance of spawning. Since I didn't need iron right now, I wrote down the coordinates just in case and went back to mining diamonds. In total I managed to collect 85 diamonds. Hopefully that will be enough for the rest of this hardcore run. I started making my way back to surface and finally returned home in the evening of day 31. After sending my report to ChatGPT, I went straight to bed, ending another long adventure underground. A new morning begins, which means a new task list is ready. The main goals by day 34 was to loot end cities and get elytra, so I headed straight to the end portal. Once I was back in the end, I decided to collect more ender pearls first. I had a feeling they would be very useful later. After gathering 16 ender pearls, I remembered something important. I never took the dragon egg last time, so I grabbed the dragon egg, went to the portal, and only on my fourth try, I finally teleported to the outer ant islands. To move between islands, I used blocks for long distance and ender pearls for shorter jumps. I also increased my render distance to make ant cities easier to spot. Not long after that, I saw an ant ship and right behind it an ant city. I ran straight toward it, collecting more ender pearls along the way. Fighting shulkers, I slowly worked my way through the city and started opening chests. I won't list everything I found, only the most interesting loot. In the first chest I found a diamond sword with smite 3, knockback 2 and mending. I think it will be perfect to combine with my current sword later. After that I loot the ant ship. Inside I grabbed 2 instant health, 2 potions, and of course the most important item, the elytra. This will make my life much easier. But I wasn't done yet. I continued looting the ant city, looking for more armor. Soon I found these boots. They had curse of vanishing, but that doesn't really matter. I'm not planning to die in hardcore. At least I hope so. In the next chest I found a helmet with a blast protection 3, unbreaking 3 and mending. I was really happy at this point. I almost had a full armor set with mending, only the chest plate was missing. I crafted 2 shulker boxes and stored everything I didn't need right now. After that I returned home in the morning of day 34. Back at base I started combining armor pieces, but I quickly realized I didn't have enough experience, and on top of it was time to send my report to ChatGPT. So I wrapped things up there, ready for whatever comes next. After receiving a new task list, I finally realized that ChatGPT completely lost track of time. Finishing all these tasks in such short period was simply impossible. Later I edited the goals and tasked for more realistic deadlines, but for now we work with what we have. The next morning I started by harvesting wheat and sugarcane. I needed sugarcane to craft fireworks, and the wheat was used to breed cows. During the process, one baby cow escaped from the pan, and since I wasn't using the second section of the farm anyway, I decided to remove the fence and give the cows more space. Although to be honest they didn't really get to enjoy it because I was very hungry. After that I traveled to the nether to collect netherrack. I planned to use it as main building material for my XP farm. I gathered 10 full stacks and decided that was enough for now. Night was already already coming, so without wasting time, I went out to farm mobs for experience. My main target was creepers. I needed gunpowder to craft fireworks. In total I crafted a little more than one full stack, which was enough for now. Next I flew to the nearest village to get a mending book. After just few attempts, I got lucky and found the book I needed. But this where I made serious mistake. I started trading with villagers to get emeralds and forgot to log the trade with the mending villager. When I finally returned with enough emeralds, the trade was gone. So once again, I had to break and play the lectern over and over again for about 10 minutes. In the end, I finally bought the mending book, returned it home, and enchanted my elytra. One more mission complete. Right after that, I sent my progress report to ChatGPT and received a new task list. This time I was given much more realistic deadlines, but in the end, I still didn't manage to meet them. Without wasting a single minute, I repaired my armor and tools and went straight to the nether. I needed a lot of netherrack and more importantly, ancient debris. Without it, I couldn't complete my first big task, getting full netherite gear. I spent around 20 to 30 minutes in the nether, and during that time, I managed to mine 10 ancient debris. After that, I had to return home just to repair my pickaxe. At that moment, I realized something important. I really needed mending on my pickaxe. Constant repairing were slowing me down, so I went back to that same village and started trading with villagers again. Eventually, I got a mending book and returned home full of hope, but disappointment was waiting for me. I didn't have enough XP to apply mending to the pickaxe, so I changed my plan. Instead of wasting more time, I decided to finally start building my XP farm. First, I needed a good location. I was looking for a place where my future base could be built. I wanted something special. My main goal was to find a beautiful open field near the ocean because I wanted to build my farm above water. After searching for a while, I finally found perfect spot, and as a bonus, there was Mushroom Island just 500 blocks away. A small but very nice surprise. Once the location was chosen, I immediately started building the farm. This part took me almost 7 in-game days, mostly because I ran out of the netherrack and had to return to the nether multiple times. Another huge time sink was wool. I needed a lot of it to craft carpets. During a visit to my old base, I also decided to move all the important items to the new location. Honestly, it wasn't a great idea. Everything ended up stored outside, but I had no choice. ChatGPT told me to do it. Now about the XP farm. It turned out to be slow and inefficient, and I still don't understand why. If you know what I did wrong, feel free to write it in the comments. I'd love to read your ideas. After that, I decided to upgrade my pickaxe. I crafted a new one and enchanted it with Fortune 3, Efficiency 4 and Unbreaking 3. To combine it with my old pickaxe, I needed an anvil, so I went mining for iron. Along the way, I also collected 43 diamonds. With a Fortune pickaxe, it's way easier. I sent my report, and this time it didn't even give me deadline because I never finish on time anyway. It simply said, send a report when all netherite gear and tools are done, except for hoe. And honestly, I agree, a netherite hoe is useless, so I skipped it. In my day 50 report, I also mentioned that my XP farm was inefficient. Because of that, ChatGPT told me to build an Enderman farm. There was no deadline, but ChatGPT strongly recommend not to delay it because I still had to build a base later. I combined the 2 diamond pickaxes and finally applied mending. Now I wanted to upgrade it to netherite, but I had one problem. I didn't have a netherite upgrade template. Since I needed it for one of the tasks, I went back to the nether and spent a lot of time searching for the template. Finally on day 57, I came back home with a long-awaited template. Using it, I crafted 7 more and made my netherite pickaxe. With mending, I was finally free. Seeing how fast my tools were losing durability, I understood the Enderman farm was now the top priority. I started preparing resources. Once again, wool took way too much time, but eventually I was ready. I flew towards the end portal, and on the way I noticed pillager outpost. Of course I couldn't ignore it. There I got my first totem of undying and immediately lost it. But it's fine, I got 2 more. After that, I went to the end. While I was there, I decided to loot some ant cities as well. In the first chest, nothing useful. In the second, a missing template and a sharpness 4 sword. And yes, I didn't forget the elytra. In the second ant city, I found another template and elytra. Then I returned to the main island and started building the farm. Luckily, the Enderman farm took only a few days to build, and this time it was way more efficient. This farm helped me a lot later. I needed huge amount of XP for enchanting and combine gear. After that, I mined the remaining ancient debris and finally crafted a full set of netherite gear. In the end, my setup looked like this. Yes, I know, it's not perfect, but honestly, I think it's turned out pretty good. All of this was completed only by day 77, that's left me with 23 days to build and fully set up my new base. I sent my report to ChatGPT and received just one final task, build a house by day 100, and that is where the new chapter begins. At this stage I should mention, I'm definitely not a builder. Just for fun, I asked ChatGPT for some house ideas, and after seeing result, my confidence went up. Even I couldn't imagine something that bad. Then I went to Pinterest to look for house designs. I liked a few of of them, but in the end I chose one and started gathering resources. The main material would be spruce logs, so I collected some spruce saplings. Back home I started growing them right there. Once I had 4 saplings, I started growing big trees, which really sped things up. Then I leveled the ground nearby and started placing pillars in the right spots, then stripped them with my axe. For walls and floor I used oak planks. I spent all my time gathering resources and building, sometimes even skipping the night just to have as much time as possible. When the house was finished, I collected everything I had outside and slowly moved it inside, trying to make everything look neat and functional. I think I did pretty good job, but you'll see the final result soon. At the same time I started decorating the area around the house. If you are wondering where this little path leads, you'll find out soon. I also built an automatic sugarcane farm, so I won't have to worry about fireworks later. By day 96 I brought home the cows and then the sheep. I think this made the house feel much cozier. After that I decorated the mine entrance. Even though I don't really need it, I added it just for decoration. During the last few days I focused entirely on decoration both inside and outside the house. And now, walking up on the morning of day 101, I'm finally ready to show you what I made. Everyone, welcome to the comment section. You can leave your thoughts and ideas for the next videos. I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you next time. Hey, what are you doing here? Video is already over. Well, if you're still watching, you can subscribe to my Twitch channel. Bye!